Last night, the impossible happened. The world had shifted into a new dimension. Everything that we know and love about the speedrunning community has been changed forever. So, as many of you all know, I had held the world speed record in a game called Nerved for the PS4. And what happened was it was originally held by duders who had it for 16 minutes and something seconds. And I had beat his original time at 15 minutes and 50 seconds. And for the longest time, I was the unbeaten reigning champion of the world. So I sat atop my throne and ruled my kingdom as I saw fit. When one day, out of the blue, a man named Absolute Sin had come in and wreaked havoc on my life. He had turned my entire world upside down. And what had happened was he beat my time with a glitch. And I knew about the glitch and I didn't know how it worked. And he didn't either, as he had said he didn't know how it worked, and it just happened randomly and saved his run, where he had 15:16 as his total run time. That is a total of 44 seconds that he had beaten my run by. Naturally, uh, I took the challenge to get my title back, and I was unsuccessful for a very long time. I worked hours upon hours diligently looking through material, through videos, through I even studied game development for the longest time, trying to figure out how this glitch had worked. Because what had happened with this glitch is there's a moment where at the end where you have to go to your cabin to get gas and matches and go all the way back to the mayor's house and set it on fire. And somewhere between the time you pick up the matches and the gasoline and you go back to the mansion, a glitch would happen where it would just instantaneously go to the cutscene and complete the run, where you didn't have to go all the way back to the mansion, which kills about 30-25 seconds maybe. Um, and it would just be down to what I believe was called the seed. It seemed like this game had several different seeds. Some where the glitch would work and some where the glitch wouldn't work, and there were certain things I thought you had to do to get that glitch to work. And still to this day, it's a very mystery about exactly how that glitch works. Um, I thought it had to be the positioning of what you would have to do in the cabin, to how many times you open and close the chest door. But a lot of the runs that I had done, it was just completely random about when it would happen, and it would always take me by surprise. I would never go into a run thinking that it was going to be a sure thing until last night. Last night was different because I wasn't streaming. So before, I get into it, uh, everybody knows that I spent hours upon hours upon hours on stream alone doing this. But nobody knew that I was doing this off stream as well. And it wouldn't be like I would spend hours at a time off stream doing it. It would just be like a run or two just to kind of keep myself kind of just keep on looking for new and improved ways to get through the game. Um, to successfully complete a speed run to kind of understand the game a little bit better. And I would generally just have the timer up on my phone. So what you're going to notice about the run here is I'm having the timer put up on live split post run. And that's generally just because I had it on my phone. That's why you're not seeing a face camera. That's why there's no commentary, and that's why I'm voicing over now post speedrun. The actual run itself went phenomenal. It went absolutely phenomenal. There were no, there's nothing that like could stop me. Everything that could have possibly went right. It was super perfect. All the grabs worked just swell. I think the axe grab was the only one I had one instantaneous second wrong with. But that didn't stop me. That didn't phase me. I just kept on booking it. Um, all the monsters went surprisingly swimmingly. I had no trouble with any of them, which is a very wild, random thing because I found that in many of the seeds the main monsters are completely random, and their positioning and their grabs too are very wild. The mansion monster is probably the hardest creature to get past, is because for whatever reason in the mansion she just knows how to cut me off and knows how to. She'll stand in the doorway and will block my entire. I'll be in a dead end. She'll block a doorway and I can't get past her, and it'll eat time if I wait her out. I've had a few successful attempts actually juking past her, and what happened from there is that I had just, by the grace of God, got past her reach by probably like a millimeters past her reach. Using objects in my area to my advantage, like a stack of books on the ground, I would be able to walk over it to get around her, which made the juke so much easier. And then every like third or fourth run would be what I call a crash run. And what would happen is from this part here, walking to the toy maker's house, probably right up to the door even, the game would just crash and it would just kill the entire run. And that would happen very, very commonly. So by this point I'm getting to the basement and the time is pretty average for me at this point, and it's just been going so well. I haven't had too much trouble. There were a couple monsters on the pathway from the mansion to the toy maker's house that I had to strafe around, but all in all, it was very successful getting past them. I was just more mindful of them. Now, being in the basement of the toy maker's house, one of the main things is where the toy maker is. Sometimes he spawns on the stairs, even at the bottom of the stairs. I've seen him spawn. So the main thing that kills this run, or not this run, but can kill a run, is that positioning of the monster. Um, right past this door here, you're gonna see this will be the stairwell I'm talking about. He's sometimes spawned right there, right after the door opens. He spawned on this landing. He spawned up by this door, and he was directly in the middle, but I was able to get past him fairly easily. I was fairly happy how that turned out because sometimes he's not even in the goddamn room and I'm just trying to figure out what he's doing. And, at that point, sometimes I'm like, I don't think I'm going to even see him. Um, but after a while, it just gets to be I'm pretty confident in getting past him either way. If he's on the stairwell, I've usually juked him out and he usually doesn't have that far of a reach. And I've had a couple unsuccessful attempts, but I've had more successful than unsuccessful. Now, being in the mansion, this has always been my hardest part of the run. I've always struggled so hard with this because of the position. Well, first off, because of the layout of the mansion, I've struggled with. The layout of the mansion is so fucking hard to understand, to comprehend, because there's two staircases, and to this day I find it very hard to know which staircase is which, how to get to which one. But I made it a thing to just continuously go to the same stair set. And I know I know where the other staircase is. It's just I wouldn't go to it. That wouldn't be my go-to. So sometimes in this mansion, this demon could spawn anywhere, and very slow character, but when she corners you, and it's a very tough play to do. It's very tough to get around her and everything and break her ankles, but in this run, I think I got a glimpse of her. I heard her, like, she seemed very close all the time. I could hear her thumping and everything, but I could not find her. I think it's when I finally get the gun and I come back into the mansion for the last time, I get a glimpse of her in the dining room. But I just made a solid effort. I'm like, if she's not in my field of view, I'm not caring. I'm not looking for her. I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna go right through this and just get what I need to get and get the fuck out. But she ends up pretty much not bothering me at all, which was, by the grace of God, just probably the best thing that ever happened to me. And I couldn't have been more lucky for that to happen, because yeah, she could kill my run either way, either by eating time up. Sometimes she'll spawn on a staircase and I'll have to go to a different staircase all the way across the dining room to get to where I'm going, and that'll eat up 10-15 seconds because I've wasted going all the way over to one staircase and then just ending up to another. The entirety of this run, though, could have been a lot cleaner. There were some points in it where I may have lost a second or two. Um, One of the very rare ones was this gun grab where I got it on the first try. That usually takes me like 3 seconds to grab because its hitbox is just super like small around the gun, which was kind of shitty. But everything else about it, I think right here I got a glimpse of her, and it was just so wild. I was like, wow, I can't believe I did this whole section in under 12 minutes. This cutscene, I tried to get there in before 12 minutes, and I did it by maybe a few seconds, and it just went perfectly because that was just my absolute, like, I need to get this done by 12 minutes because I was not doing this run to do the glitch. I was doing this run to just do the run and not worry about the glitch. So I actually wrote a time down for how long it takes to get to the cabin to the mayor's mansion, and I needed to be out the door of the cabin by 14:42 to have a chance. And I don't that's just a rough number. There are some parts where I don't know when the cutscene goes up for the final cutscene or not. And to verify this is my run, I do the flashlights. I spam it like 100 times. That's just my superstition that I do. I believe it has something to do to help the glitch, but I think it's just more superstition at this point. And I couldn't find the paper where I wrote the time down that I needed to exit the cabin by. So at this point, I'm one-handing the controller and like running through my desk to try to find the piece of paper I wrote the time down on because I could not remember. And I found it at the last second, and I'm like, all right, cool, we got it, we're good. And by this time, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna grab the gas can and the matches in one go. I'm not gonna fuck it up, and then I'm gonna book it out of there, and I'm gonna sprint because I believe if you do this run perfectly, you can get a better time than 15:16. I believe it would be probably pretty close to like 15:10, 15:12 ballpark. But if I could beat the absolute sins time by a few seconds, I would be fine. That was what I was pretty much going with. And right now I'm just I this is it's endgame in my head right now. It's absolutely wild how this was actually just a one run. Like I had maybe 10 minutes to spare to kill before bedtime, and I was like, all right, we're gonna make this run happen. And by this point, I'm getting to the cabin. It's getting pretty close to the time. I have to desperately make it. Matches go good. The gasoline takes me a couple seconds, and I'm like, fuck it. I'm like, fuck. And I finally grab it. I'm running out the door. And then I'm booking it. I'm like, all right, cool, here we go. And then boom, it just fucking happens. I send Absolute Sin back to the Shadow Realm, and I regain the title of Master of the Universe. This was absolutely wild, and I couldn't be happier with the results. Um, but yeah, that is the end of the speedrun saga with TC.